There comes a moment in life when you begin to sense that you were not created to live on autopilot, repeating the same patterns, thinking the same thoughts, and settling for a version of yourself that feels smaller than what you know is possible. It is a quiet realization at first, but once it begins, it does not leave easily. You start to feel a pull towards something deeper, something purposeful, something that requires more from you than comfort ever will. But here is the tension. Many people feel that calling, yet nothing changes. Not because the calling is not real, but because activation requires intentional response. It requires stepping out of routine and into alignment. This is where the idea of a focused, short but intentional shift becomes powerful. Not a random attempt at change, but a deliberate 3-day process to reset your focus, renew your mind, and realign your actions. Not because transformation is completed in 3 days, but because direction can be. To understand this, we look at patterns in Scripture where short, intentional seasons led to powerful shifts. Consider the story of Esther. Esther was placed in a position that seemed ordinary at first, but eventually she was faced with a moment that would define not only her life, but the future of her people. When the crisis came, she did not act immediately. She called for a period of fasting. In Esther 4:16, she says, "Go, gather together all the Jews and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my attendants will fast as you do." This was not just a religious act. It was preparation. It was alignment before action. After those 3 days, Esther stepped into the king's presence with clarity and boldness. The delay was not hesitation. It was intentional preparation that positioned her for impact. The lesson here is that before major shifts, there is often a need to step away, to refocus, and to realign internally. Now think about your own life. When was the last time you intentionally paused to reset your mind and direction? Not because you were forced to, but because you chose to. This brings us into the first part of the challenge. Day 1 is about separation and awareness. This is where you step back from distractions and become aware of what has been shaping your thoughts and habits. In Genesis 32, Jacob reaches a point where he is alone before a major turning point in his life. That night, he wrestles, not with a visible enemy, but in a deeply personal and spiritual encounter. Genesis 32:27-28 says, "The man asked him, 'What is your name?' 'Jacob,' he answered. Then the man said, 'Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome.'" Before the name changed, there was a moment of confrontation and awareness. Jacob had to face who he was before he could become who he was meant to be. The lesson here is that transformation begins with honest awareness. You cannot shift what you refuse to see. In practical terms, day 1 is about identifying patterns. What consumes your time? What drains your energy? What thoughts keep repeating? This is not about judgment, it is about clarity. Take a moment to reflect. If your current habits continue unchanged, where will they lead you? This is a good place to pause and even share your thoughts. Many people find clarity simply by naming what they have been avoiding. Day 2 is about surrender and renewal. Once awareness is established, the next step is release. This is where you intentionally let go of what has been holding you back and begin to replace it with something stronger. In Romans 12:2 it says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This is not automatic. It requires active participation. A powerful example of this is found in the life of Jesus before his ministry began. In Matthew 4, Jesus spends 40 days in the wilderness, fasting and preparing. When temptation comes, he responds with clarity and truth, not confusion. Matthew 4:4 records his response. "Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." The preparation strengthened his response. The lesson here is that What you feed your mind determines how you respond under pressure. In modern life, this means intentionally choosing what you consume. It could be limiting certain content, replacing negative inputs with truth, or spending focused time in reflection and prayer. Day 2 is not just about removing, it is about replacing. Ask yourself this: what are you feeding your mind daily, and how is it shaping your decisions? Day 3 is about action and alignment. This is where everything begins to take form. Awareness and renewal must lead to movement. Consider the story of Peter. In Luke 5, Peter has spent the entire night fishing with no results. It is a moment of frustration and exhaustion. Then Jesus tells him to go back out and let down his nets again. Luke 5:5 captures Peter's response: "Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything, but because you say so, I will let down the nets." That decision changed everything. The nets were filled beyond expectation, but it started with obedience, even when it did not make sense. The lesson here is that activation requires action, not perfect conditions, not complete certainty, but a step forward based on what you know is right. In your life, this could be starting something you have delayed, making a decision you have avoided, or committing to a discipline you know will move you forward. So now look at the full picture. Day 1, awareness. Day 2, renewal. Day 3, action. This is not about becoming someone else overnight. It is about stepping into alignment with who you were meant to be. There is also something important to understand. Living a normal life is not necessarily about simplicity. It is about limitation. It is about settling into patterns that require little growth and offer little purpose. But you were not designed for that. In 1 Peter 2:9 it says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light." This is a reminder of identity and purpose. Activation is not about striving to become something new. It is about stepping into what is already there, waiting to be expressed. As you reflect on this, consider where you are right now. Are you aware of your patterns? Are you intentional with your inputs? Are you taking action or waiting for the perfect moment? Change rarely begins with a dramatic event. It begins with a decision. And sometimes, all it takes is a focused 3-day shift to break momentum and start moving in a new direction. As we come to the end, remember this: you are not stuck unless you choose to stay in the same patterns. You are not limited unless you refuse to grow. The path forward may not be instant, but it is available. Take these 3 days seriously. Approach them with intention. Observe, reset, and act. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect on what day 1 looks like for you. Share your thoughts in the comments, especially what you plan to change first. Someone else might be encouraged by your step. Share this with someone who needs a reset, and continue with the next video in this series, where we go deeper into building discipline and sustaining long-term growth. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you.